So, come Saturday night, I'm coming in here to beat his. He gonna come, he gonna be tough, strong, but I'm coming to whoop his. I stand by that. I stand by that. I'm f***ing him up. Yeah.
You gotta think, right? It's okay.
I can't wait to beat this clown, bro. This dude is a clown.
Focus on me.
You better have that chin ready, baby. You better have it ready.
Real clown.
I already figured you out.
You not fighting.
What else you got, man?
Yo, Senior, you're
I only
not
seen
in the
10
ring.
seconds of your fight.
I seen you fight before.
I only
You
seen
can't
10
fight.
seconds of your fight. You're boring as hell.
Come on, bro. Stop it, bro.
Boring, man. You almost got knocked out. Even your daughter said you got knocked out.
Got knocked out. Tio got hurt his last fight too.
Ooh.
Didn't he get hurt his last fight?
Man, if it wasn't for those
Did Tio get hurt his last fight?
My son don't be throwing punches.
So Terrence Crawford crashes the Stevenson versus Lopez press conference, and everything immediately turns into pure fire. The whole thing blew up the second Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez dropped the fake smiles and started going straight at each other's throats.
I think that he did some great things against them guys. I seen a lot of weaknesses in his game too, and something that he said earlier, he said, Tio never lost to Southpaw. Well, I never lost to Orthodox. So, it ain't no different, but
the difference is you never fought no elite fighter.
Okay, I don't think y'all did either.
Oh, so you gotta show it, baby.
I don't think y'all did either. I ain't see.
Not on my son.
I ain't see Lomachenko throw no punches.
You never been on a big stage like this.
I didn't see Lomachenko throw punches for 6 rounds.
You never been on a big stage like this.
I didn't see Lomachenko throw punches
because we
for
froze
6 rounds. Okay, you gonna see.
We gonna freeze you too.
You better not throw the towel in.
Things got heated real quick when Teofimo Sr. jumped in talking about breaking down fighters like Lomachenko and Taylor. Shakur wasn't having any of that and fired right back, basically saying those wins meant nothing and that Teo had never stepped in the ring with anyone on his level.
Well, I see their weakness. That's what I do. You know, we broke the code with with Loma that nobody had ever done. You know, we didn't let him get comfortable in there. You saw that, you know, within like 8 rounds, he didn't know what to do. I did the same thing with Josh Taylor, and we're gonna do the same thing with Shakur.
Real hard. Man, what do you say to that, bro? Like, do you hear him, bro? I just can't wait to beat him and shut him up, bro. Tio not on this level. Tio is a high-level fighter, but he's not on my level. I'm an elite level fighter, and come January 31st, I'm gonna show it.
That's when everything turned into complete madness. Shakur started attacking Teo's mental game while Teo shot back, calling Shakur boring and overhyped. Both camps were yelling over each other like they were already in the middle of the actual fight instead of just sitting at tables.
I will be 100 times better come fight night against Teofimo Lopez than I was against Zepeda. 1,000 times better. Faster, sharper, stronger, mentally more on point, and I can't wait.
You said a couple of times now you see some holes in Teofimo's game. I know you don't want to give away your game plan at the kickoff press conference, but where are the weaknesses? Where are some of the weaknesses in his game?
A lot of the weaknesses is in his mental. I think it's more mental than anything again. I'm going to expose it.
The whole room exploded when things got personal and voices started rising. Security was on high alert because it felt like one wrong word would turn this into an actual brawl. Even the promoters like Eddie Hearn were trying to spin it as some legacy-defining moment, but the fighters had already taken complete control.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder, Chris. This place is special. I think when this fight was talked about, I think both Shakur and Teofimo Lopez need a huge amount of credit for making this fight. Both of the guys are the respective kings of their division. Teofimo Lopez, the #1 guy at 140. Shakur, the #1 guy at 135. And when I heard about this fight, I didn't expect it to happen. And you know, the work that His Excellency's done, Ring Magazine, to make this fight quite sensational. But the icing on the cake is to see the fight at Madison Square Garden. This is, for me, the absolute mecca of boxing.
Then Terrence Crawford calls in, and even he sounds like he's not impressed with all the chaos, which somehow made everything feel even more intense.
This fight is the first step of crazy map of boxing next year at the beginning of 27. This is not an easy fight.
By the time it wrapped up, both fighters were talking about complete domination and shutting each other up permanently. This wasn't some manufactured drama for the cameras. This was real hatred spilling out everywhere, and suddenly January 31st feels like it can't come fast enough.
So I just, I don't know. I don't think he can get it done against Shakur when it comes to like, cause it's gonna be just a skill match. I don't think he's gonna try to rough Shakur up, and it's probably not gonna work.
Right after that press conference exploded with all that raw emotion, Teofimo Sr. grabs the microphone and you can feel the entire atmosphere shift from pure chaos to ice-cold confidence. When you listen to him break things down, this isn't just trash talk anymore. This is a father laying out a complete game plan. He's not sweating any Philly shell copying or stylistic mimicking from Shakur Stevenson. His message is crystal clear. We've been through everything, and we're not guessing about anything. We're locked in and ready. What really hits you is how much he focuses on constant evolution and mental strength.
He called out Crawford in the past, and Crawford stated, "Oh, you want to get to me?"
Yeah, but he really
want
to fight Crawford, and we're gonna call him out after we beat up his boy. You know,
that's the game plan.
That's
even though you guys have, even if he requires you,
well, he ain't gonna fight us, man. He ain't gonna fight us, man. We've been chasing this guy for the longest. My son is even willing to go up to 160 to fight him. You know, listen, speed kills. You know what I'm saying? Speed kills, and that's why we're gonna beat Shakur. He ain't faster than us, and we're gonna catch him.
His whole angle is that Teofimo Lopez keeps getting better because he keeps choosing the hardest fights instead of easy money. That's a compelling argument whether you buy into it or not. When he starts breaking down legacy versus paychecks, those underdog victories against Lomachenko and Josh Taylor, and how styles shift from fight to fight, you can hear the genuine belief in every word. Is it bold? Definitely. Is it over the top? Sure. But it also matches exactly how Teofimo's entire career has played out so far. What caught my attention was how easily he dismissed things like ring dimensions and promotional gimmicks, basically saying they're not hunting for highlight reel knockouts. They're coming to outthink their opponent.
Okay, we do this for the legacy. So I tell my son, when I told him, let's go after Colmig, let's go after Lomachenko, let's go after Josh Taylor. And all of those three fights, he was the underdog. You know what I'm saying? And big time. I mean, with Josh Taylor, he was like 23 experts said that he was going to lose. So, and he gave an amazing performance, and it wasn't the same as the performance he gave with Barbosa's, like the styles have changed all the time. And that's the scariest part about him, and he comes to entertain,
Now, some of those Crawford and Canelo comparisons might be stretching reality a bit, but that's just part of the confidence game they're playing. What really comes through is this. Team Lopez isn't walking in there hoping to get lucky. They genuinely think their speed, ability to adapt, and relentless pressure can expose everything wrong with Shakur's approach. Whether that confidence holds up for 12 full rounds is a completely different question, but from a mental warfare standpoint, this wasn't empty noise, this was pure conviction. When both teams truly believe they're smarter, quicker, and more prepared than their opponent, that's exactly when fights stop being predictable and turn into something special.
Did Shakur by any chance implement a bigger ring, or
We don't care about that, man. I mean, we're just gonna box this dude, man. We're not going in there for the knockout. We never do. The only fight that my son looked like sloppy was with Cambosis, because he was dying in there, and he said that he felt better when he was attacking more. But we never do that. We always box.
After Teofimo Sr. finished laying out that entire mental chess match breakdown, everything shifts again when Andre Ward and Roy Jones Jr. step into the conversation, because now we're getting perspective from legends who actually lived through battles exactly like this one. Listening to their analysis, you can tell this is that veteran boxing wisdom coming through. They're essentially confirming what most of us were thinking while watching that press conference go completely off the rails. Those weren't promotional sound bites, those were legitimate fighting words. But the really insightful part of their breakdown that stands out is this. Shakur Stevenson creates magic in real time. He doesn't need preparation or perfect conditions. He just reads what's happening, adjusts instantly, and builds something beautiful round by round like he's improvising a masterpiece. Teofimo Lopez, meanwhile, brings serious danger, explosive power, and flashes of pure brilliance. But when everything turns chaotic, he still needs some kind of structure to find his rhythm again.
I look at Shakur like a fighter who has a blank canvas. He's got the IQ, he got the experience, and the athleticism, and the skill set where he can paint any type of picture he wants to on a blank canvas. When I look at Teofimo Lopez, he's almost that. He has a blank canvas, but he needs an outline on what to draw and what to paint inside the line. Now, every now and again, he'll go away from the outline that he has and he'll do something dope and you'll be like, "Ooh, that was cool. That wasn't on the outline right there." But I don't think that he can create on the fly like a Shakur Stevenson.
Ward and Roy aren't trying to disrespect Teo here at all. They're actually giving him credit for something really intelligent. All that disrespect during the press conference wasn't accidental. It was calculated bait designed specifically to make Shakur fight with emotion instead of precision. That's advanced psychological warfare right there. But this is where I completely agree with what Ward and Roy are saying. The biggest mistake you can make is trying to pull a calm, disciplined fighter into your chaos when he knows exactly what you're attempting. If Shakur takes the bait, Teo has a real chance. If Shakur stays patient and surgical, that entire strategy explodes. The interesting thing is how the legends admit that if someone talked to them like that, they'd be throwing hands immediately. But they also recognize that Shakur just isn't built that way. He doesn't need to win the argument, he just needs to win when it counts. That's the fundamental difference here. This fight isn't about who sounds tougher or acts more aggressive. It's about who keeps their composure when the game plan falls apart and everything becomes unpredictable.
What I think that Teo just painted the outline by being as disrespectful as he can at the press conference because he wants to try to piss this kid off so the kid come fight with him. You understand me? Because with me, he had exactly what he wanted. As soon as I go in there, I'm coming straight to his head. You understand where I'm coming from? So, but I think that's what he's trying to get. Yeah, you feel me? But I think that's what he's trying to get Shakur to do. Because why would you say that to a person? What does that have to do with boxing? You feel me? He knows that Shakur has great feet, and he's not gonna be able to catch Shakur if he lets Shakur take his time to do what he does. So he got to try to make Shakur come in and try to kill him. Which is what he just did at the press conference.
Right after Andre Ward and Roy Jones Jr. finished that brilliant improvisation versus structure analysis, the discussion flows perfectly into something even more valuable: actual first-hand ring experience. This is where Keith Thurman's perspective becomes absolutely crucial. Now we're not dealing with theories anymore. We're hearing from someone who actually shared rounds with Shocker in the ring. Listening to his breakdown, you start to understand exactly why Shocker Stevenson creates such impossible matchup problem. Thurman isn't claiming Shocker has supernatural powers or anything mystical. He's explaining that Shocker reads your entire body like he's reading a book. Small shoulder adjustment here, subtle weight shift there, and Shocker already knows what you're planning to throw before your mind fully decides. That's genuinely frightening, and it's not about physical speed, it's about mental processing power. What's wild is how matter-of-factly Thurman describes it. Like, of course he's always several moves ahead, as if that's completely normal. That perfectly explains why Shocker always looks relaxed while his opponents look frustrated and confused. He's not reacting after things happen, he's reacting before they happen.
Always notice, just sparring him and then watching him, I always notice, I'm like, dang, when he, if you really pay attention to when he spar, when he fight, he already know what you want to throw before you throw it. Not because he's some type of boxing guru or anything like that, but because he reading your body language. If you dip to this side, I'm already blocking for a possible hook or uppercut. I don't need to worry about a jab or right hand, because you're not, like, the probability of you throwing that is not even, But so just watching him and sparring him, being in the ring with him, it's like, dang, just him understanding what a person could throw based off their body positioning. It always put him like 2-3 steps ahead of his opponents.
When you hear that direct testimony from someone who actually faced him, it connects perfectly with everything Ward and Roy were explaining. Shocker doesn't want chaos because he dominates through clarity. He doesn't force the picture, he lets it develop naturally and then perfects it. Then Thurman really drives his point home when he explains why Teofimo Lopez, despite all his dangerous tools, has to be absolutely perfect for every single round. What I love is that he shows complete respect for Teo throughout. He straight up acknowledges this is a much better fight than Shakur's previous opponent because Teofimo brings athleticism, explosive power, and constant danger. That's completely fair, but here's where the skill gap becomes obvious. Teofimo's tendencies, like dropping his lead hand and leaving himself open to body shots, those seem like tiny details until you're facing someone who builds entire strategies around tiny details. Thurman references specific moments where Teo was slow to make adjustments in past fights, and that makes perfect sense because those are exactly the situations where Shakur becomes most dangerous. One small mistake turns into a repeating pattern, that pattern turns into lost rounds, and suddenly you're behind on the scorecards without understanding how it happened.
Yeah, for sure. The most notable thing that come to mind is I remember when he fought Sander Martin. Like every time he threw a right hand to the body, he never had his lead hand up. Sander Martin was just check hooking him to death. I'm just like when he's just gonna make the adjustment, when he gonna realize that he just keep getting hit with the right hook every time he try to throw the right hand. So those are the small adjustments that he had to make because, sharp fighter, they gonna capitalize. So he gotta be on his game.
Thurman isn't predicting fireworks or dramatic knockdowns. He's predicting sustained mental pressure, the kind that makes Teofimo desperate in the later rounds, while Shakur quietly increases his lead. That's the most dangerous version of Shakur Stevenson. Not flashy or dramatic, just clean, composed, and walking away with a clear victory while everyone else is still arguing about when the fight was actually decided. When you step back and examine everything we've analyzed here, this fight transforms from a simple stylistic clash into a complete psychological examination under the brightest possible lights. You have Shakur Stevenson, calm and calculating, identifying patterns before they fully develop, going against Teofimo Lopez, explosive and emotional, but dangerous enough to change everything in one perfect moment if you give him the smallest opening. That press conference revealed just how personal this has become. Teofimo Sr. demonstrated how completely Team Lopez believes in their approach. Warden Roy reminded everyone that words can become psychological traps, and Keith Thurman confirmed what fighters throughout the sport already understand. Shakur doesn't create chaos, he waits for chaos to expose itself. That's what makes January 31st so compelling. The promotional hype doesn't matter anymore. Everything comes down to who maintains their true identity when the pressure becomes unbearable.
So it's the stuff that he's tightening up things for Shakur to prepare for him, but also in sparring because he may have lagged during this last sparring. So it's a lot, but it's definitely doable. And but this the time is now. At the end of the day, oh yeah, for sure. I feel like Shakur is gonna outbox him, and it's gonna be a point in time until he kind of get desperate. And that's when the gap is going wide, and then Shakur is just going to, come out with a clean victory.
Will Teofimo create the perfect moment and break through, or will Shakur quietly turn 12 rounds into a masterclass while everyone debates when control slipped away? That's the real question here. So let me know your thoughts. Drop your predictions in the comments. Let's get a real discussion going. And make to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters. Catch you in the next breakdown.